The art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. We are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface but connected in the deep. To change one's life, 1. Start immediately. 2. Do it flamboyantly. 3. No exceptions. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Whenever 2 people meet, there are really 6 people present. There is each man as he sees himself, each man as the other person sees him, and each man as he really is. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. If you can change your mind, you can change your life. Whenever you're in conflict with someone, there is one factor that can make the difference between damaging your relationship and deepening it. That factor is attitude. The great use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Nothing is so fatiguing as the eternal hanging on of an uncompleted task. Wherever you are, it is your friends who make your world. We don't laugh because we're happy because we laugh. To perceive the world differently, we must be willing to change our belief system, let the past slip away, expand our sense of now, and dissolve the fear in our minds. Anything you may hold firmly in your imagination can be yours. Our view of the world is truly shaped by what we decide to hear. Begin to be now what you will be hereafter. Human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. There are no differences but differences of degree between different degrees of difference and no difference. Good humor is a philosophic state of mind. It seems to say to nature that we take her no more seriously than she takes us. I maintain that one should always talk of philosophy with a smile. Procrastination is attitude's natural assassin. There's nothing so fatiguing as an uncompleted task. If merely feeling good could decide, drunkenness would be the supremely valid human experience. If you believe that feeling bad or worrying long enough will change a past or future event, then you are residing on another planet with a different reality system. If any organism fails to fulfill its potentialities, it becomes sick. We may be in the universe as dogs and cats are in our libraries, seeing the books and hearing the conversation, but having no inkling of the meaning of it all. Knowledge about life is one thing, effective occupation of a place in life, with its dynamic currents passing through your being, is another. Science, like life, feeds on its own decay. New facts burst old rules, then newly divined conceptions bind old and new together into a reconciling law. Genius, in truth, means little more than the faculty of perceiving in an unhabitual way. My experience is what I agree to attend to. The moral flabbiness born of the exclusive worship of the bitch goddess success. That, with the squalid cash interpretation put on the word success, is our national disease. Do every day or two something for no other reason that you would rather not do it, so that when the hour of dire need draws nigh, it may find you not unnerved and untrained to stand the test. I am no lover of disorder and doubt as such. Rather I fear to lose truth by the pretension to possess it already wholly. Religion is a monumental chapter in the history of human egotism. Belief creates the actual fact. Philosophy is an unusually stubborn attempt to think clearly. The aim of a college education is to teach you to know a good man when you see one. A sense of humor is just common sense dancing. There are two lives, the natural and the spiritual, and we must lose the one before we can participate in the other. We have to live today by what truth we can get today and be ready tomorrow to call it falsehood. A man with no philosophy in him is the most inauspicious and unprofitable of all possible social mates. This life is worth living, we can say, since it is what we make it. When you have to make a choice and don't make it, that is in itself a choice. The union of the mathematician with the poet, fervor with measure, passion with correctness, this surely is the ideal. It would probably astound each of us beyond measure to be let into his neighbor's mind and to find how different the scenery was there from that of his own. The strenuous life tastes better. It is only by risking our persons from one hour to another that we live at all. A man has as many social selves as there are distinct groups of persons about whose opinion he cares. He generally shows a different side of himself to each of these different groups. If you wish to upset the law that all crows are black, you mustn't seek to show that no crows are. It is enough if you prove one single crow to be white. The prevalent fear of poverty among the educated classes is the worst moral disease from which our civilization suffers. I don't sing because I'm happy. I'm happy because I sing. Each of us literally chooses, by his way of attending to things, what sort of universe he shall appear to himself to inhabit. There is no more miserable human being than one in whom nothing is habitual but indecision. Damn the absolute. Your hopes, dreams and aspirations are legitimate. They are trying to take you airborne, above the clouds, above the storms, if you only let them. The lunatic's visions of horror are all drawn from the material of daily fact. Our civilization is founded on the shambles, and every individual existence goes out in a lonely spasm of helpless agony. Whilst part of what we perceive comes through our senses from the object before us, another part, and it may be the larger part, always comes out of our own mind. Most people, probably, are in doubt about certain matters ascribed to their past. They may have seen them, may have said them, done them, or they may only have dreamed or imagined they did so. As a rule, we disbelieve all the facts and theories for which we have no use. The community stagnates without the impulse of the individual, the impulse dies away without the sympathy of the community. Why may we not be in the universe, as our dogs and cats are in our drawing rooms and libraries? All our life, so far as it has definite form, is but a mass of habits. Wisdom is seeing something in a non-habitual manner. None of us are ever who we were yesterday. Action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together, and by regulating the action, which is under the more direct control of the will, we can indirectly regulate the feeling, which is not. There's nothing so absurd that if you repeat it often enough, people will believe it. The greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery that human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. Philosophy lives in words, but truth and fact well up into our lives in ways that exceed verbal formulation. In order to disprove the assertion that all crows are black, one white crow is sufficient. Invention, using the term most broadly, and imitation, are the two legs, so to call them, on which the human race historically has walked. All religions and spiritual traditions begin with the cry, "Help!" I am tired of the position of the dried-up critic and doubter. The believer is the true full man. From a biography of James by Robert D. Richardson. Our colleges ought to have lit up in us a lasting relish for a better kind of man, a loss of appetite for mediocrities. The exclusive worship of the bitch goddess success is our national disease. Seize the very first possible opportunity to act on every resolution you make, and on every emotional prompting you may experience in the direction of the habits you aspire to gain. There is only one thing a philosopher can be relied upon to do, and that is to contradict other philosophers.